California Real Estate Exam Appraisal Questions. Question 1. Before Darius starts showing a garden apartment building for pay, which relationship is required for a salesperson licensee? Option A. Membership in a local trade association. Option B. Registration with the county recorder only. Option C. A verbal approval from any property owner. Option D. Employment and supervision by a licensed responsible broker. The correct answer is option D. Employment and supervision by a licensed responsible broker. A salesperson must be affiliated with and supervised by a responsible broker before performing licensed acts. Trade association membership is voluntary and separate from licensing authority. County recording does not create brokerage authority. Owner permission alone does not replace the required broker relationship. Question 2. A broker receives deposit funds connected to Fatima's offer. Which fiduciary duty is most directly involved? Option A. Accounting for money and property entrusted to the broker. Option B. Constructive eviction of the tenant. Option C. Subordination of a deed of trust. Option D. Riparian use of water. The correct answer is option A. Accounting for money and property entrusted to the broker. Accounting requires an agent to safeguard and properly report money or property received on behalf of others. Constructive eviction is a landlord minus tenant issue. Subordination concerns lien priority rather than fiduciary accounting. Riparian rights concern water use connected to land. Question 3. How can an agency relationship most commonly be created in a sale of a residential rental for Hero in Oakland? Option A. By paying property taxes for the owner. Option B. By express agreement such as a listing or buyer representation agreement. Option C. By ordering a pest inspection report. Option D. By recording a grant deed in the agent's name. The correct answer is option B. By express agreement such as a listing or buyer representation agreement. Agency is commonly created by agreement between principal and agent, often documented in listing or buyer-broker agreements. Paying taxes does not itself create agency authority. Ordering an inspection may be part of a transaction but does not alone create agency. Recording a deed transfers or affects title rather than creating brokerage agency. Stressed about your California real estate exam? We can take California real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. How should Tanya handle buyer qualification standards across applicants for a rental duplex? Option A. Ask only some applicants for proof of income based on appearance. Option B. Use different standards based on national origin. Option C. Apply consistent, lawful, and documented criteria to all applicants. Option D. Skip standards for applicants with children. The correct answer is option C. Apply consistent, lawful, and documented criteria to all applicants. Consistent lawful screening helps avoid discriminatory treatment and supports fair housing compliance. Appearance-based documentation requests create unequal treatment risk. National origin is a protected characteristic and cannot justify different standards. Families with children cannot be singled out for special burdens or exemptions based on bias. Question 5. A buyer signs an offer on a fourplex, but the seller changes the price before accepting. What is the seller's changed response usually called for NOAA in Palm Springs? Option A. A fully executed contract. Option B. A deed restriction. Option C. A quiet title action. Option D. A counteroffer. The correct answer is option D. A counteroffer. Changing a material term before acceptance generally creates a counteroffer rather than an acceptance. A contract is not fully executed until all required acceptance and delivery elements are satisfied. A deed restriction limits property use and is not a negotiation response. A quiet title action is a lawsuit to resolve title disputes. Question 6. Two unrelated buyers take title with unequal shares and no survivorship language. Which ownership form is most likely for Jean in San Jose? Option A. Tenancy in common. Option B. Severalty. Option C. Life estate per otra vie. Option D. Joint tenancy. The correct answer is option A, tenancy in common. Tenancy in common allows unequal shares and does not include automatic survivorship unless otherwise structured. Severalté means ownership by one person or entity. A life estate per autre vie is measured by another person's life. Joint tenancy typically requires survivorship and equal interests. Question 7. How does recording a deed usually protect a buyer of a ranch property for Maya in Stockton? Option A. It eliminates all easements. Option B. It gives public notice of the buyer's interest and may affect priority. Option C. It proves the purchase price was fair. Option D. It makes the lender forgive the loan. The correct answer is option B. It gives public notice of the buyer's interest and may affect priority. Recording places the document in public records and helps establish notice and priority against later interests. Existing easements may remain even after recording. Recording does not prove value or fairness of price. Loan repayment obligations are not forgiven by recording the deed. Question 8. When title will vest in a buyer's name, what is being determined for Cayenne Ventura? Option A. The exact mortgage interest rate. Option B. The seller's moving date only. Option C. The form in which ownership will be held. Option D. The commission split between brokers. The correct answer is option C. The form in which ownership will be held. Vesting describes how title ownership is held, such as by one person, spouses, or co-minus owners. Interest rate is a loan term. Moving dates are possession and contract issues. Commission splits are brokerage compensation issues. Are you looking for California real estate exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access California real estate exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get California real estate exam answer key today. Question 9. Why might a borrower choose an adjustable minus-rate mortgage instead of a fixed minus-rate mortgage for Zara in Riverside? Option A. The borrower receives title insurance for free. Option B. The loan is never secured by real property. Option C. The principal balance never has to be repaid. Option D. The interest rate can change under the loan terms after an initial period. The correct answer is option D. The interest rate can change under the loan terms after an initial period. An adjustable minus-rate mortgage has rate terms that may change based on the note and index provisions. Title insurance costs are separate from the interest minus rate structure. Real estate loans may still be secured by the property. Principal repayment is still required under the loan contract. Question 10. A broker receives earnest money from Samir. Where should those funds be handled if not delivered to escrow or the owner is authorized? Option A. In a broker trust account or other legally authorized trust fund arrangement. Option B. In cash until the buyer removes contingencies. Option C. In the broker's personal checking account. Option D. In a salesperson's vacation account. The correct answer is option A. In a broker trust account or other legally authorized trust fund arrangement. Trust funds must be safeguarded and handled according to trust account rules or lawful written instructions. Holding cash casually can violate accounting and safeguarding duties. Personal accounts create commingling risk. A salesperson's vacation account is not an authorized trust fund location. Question 11. Why is the transfer disclosure statement important in many residential sales for Yara in Los Angeles? Option A. It guarantees the buyer's loan approval. Option B. It provides seller disclosures about the property's condition and features. Option C. It records the deed of trust. Option D. It replaces all inspections. The correct answer is option B. It provides seller disclosures about the property's condition and features. The transfer disclosure statement is used to disclose information about residential property condition and related items. Loan approval depends on lender underwriting. Recording loan documents is a separate title process. Inspections still help verify condition beyond disclosure statements. Question 12. How does the cost approach estimate value for a newer special minus-use building for Arjun in Long Beach? Option A. Buyer income divided by commission. Option B. Seller equity plus escrow fee. Option C, a land value plus improvement cost minus depreciation. Option D, gross rent multiplied by mortgage interest. The correct answer is option C, land value plus improvement cost minus depreciation. The cost approach estimates site value and adds the cost of improvements after subtracting depreciation. Buyer income and commission are not components of this method. Seller equity and escrow fees do not measure replacement cost. Rent and interest do not describe the cost approach. Question 13. How is capitalization rate generally calculated for an income property for Bianca in Chula Vista? Option A, property tax multiplied by commission. Option B, gross rent divided by number of bedrooms. Option C, loan points divided by escrow fee. Option D, net operating income divided by value or price. The correct answer is option D, net operating income divided by value or price. Capitalization rate relates net operating income to property value or price. Property tax times commission is not an income capitalization formula. Bedrooms may affect rent but do not create the cap rate formula. Loan points and escrow fees are financing or settlement charges. Question 14. Why is habitability important in managing residential property for Marisol in Sacramento? Option A, landlords generally must maintain basic living conditions required by law. Option B, it sets the buyer's loan minus to minus value ratio. Option C, it determines the appraiser's license number. Option D, it eliminates all tenant duties. The correct answer is option A. Landlords generally must maintain basic living conditions required by law. Residential habitability rules require landlords to maintain essential conditions for occupancy. Loan minus to minus value is a financing calculation. Appraiser license numbers are unrelated to habitability. Tenants may still have duties under the lease and law. Question 15. How does zoning affect Jamal's plan to convert a fourplex into a different use? Option A, zoning removes all deed restrictions. Option B, zoning controls permitted land uses and development standards. Option C, zoning is the same as title insurance. Option D, zoning guarantees financing approval. The correct answer is option B. Zoning controls permitted land uses and development standards. Zoning is a public land minus use control that regulates use, density, and development standards. Private restrictions may still apply even when zoning allows a use. Title insurance protects against covered title defects, not land minus use permission. Lenders make financing decisions separately. Question 16. Why can an underground storage tank matter in a real estate transaction for Nora in Modesto? Option A, it transfers title to the city. Option B, it always increases appraised value. Option C, it may create contamination, cleanup, or disclosure concerns. Option D, it replaces the need for flood disclosure. The correct answer is option C. It may create contamination, cleanup, or disclosure concerns. Underground tanks can present environmental risks and potential remediation obligations. The city does not receive title simply because a tank exists. A tank does not automatically increase value. Flood and environmental disclosures address different risks. Question 17. How can a property tax lien affect title transfer for Caleb in Fresno? Option A, it gives the buyer a free appraisal. Option B, it automatically creates joint tenancy. Option C, it removes the need for escrow. Option D, it may need to be paid or otherwise resolved to deliver clear title. The correct answer is option D. It may need to be paid or otherwise resolved to deliver clear title. Tax liens can encumber property and are commonly addressed during title and closing. Appraisals estimate value and are not created by tax liens. Ownership form is not created by a tax lien. Escrow is often used to resolve liens rather than avoided. Question 18. Why is promptly presenting offers important to a principal for May in Anaheim? Option A, it supports the agent's duties of loyalty, obedience, and diligent service. Option B, it eliminates the seller's right to counteroffer. Option C, it gives escrow authority to reject offers. Option D, it allows the agent to choose the buyer personally. The correct answer is option A. It supports the agent's duties of loyalty, obedience, and diligent service. Agents should generally present offers as required so the principal can make informed decisions. A seller may still reject or counter offers. Escrow does not decide whether offers are acceptable. The agent does not choose the buyer for personal reasons. Stressed about your California real estate exam? We can take California real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. Why can pro record keeping make a trust fund dispute worse for Rafael in Monterey? Option A. It converts a lease into a grant deed. Option B. Incomplete records make it difficult to prove receipts, disbursements, and balances. Option C. It increases the square footage of the property. Option D. It automatically raises the loan interest rate. The correct answer is option B. Incomplete records make it difficult to prove receipts, disbursements, and balances. Trust fund disputes depend heavily on accurate records showing what was received and paid. A lease does not become a deed because of paperwork quality. Square footage is a property measurement unrelated to records. Loan rates are set by credit and market terms. Question 20. Why can misrepresentation in a real estate transaction lead to license discipline for Ivy in San Diego? Option A. It is allowed if the buyer signs quickly. Option B. It is handled only by the county tax assessor. Option C. It violates duties of honesty and lawful practice under real estate regulation. Option D. It automatically becomes a zoning variance. The correct answer is option C. It violates duties of honesty and lawful practice under real estate regulation. Misrepresentation undermines consumer protection and may violate DRE law and regulations. A quick signature does not excuse false statements. Tax assessors do not regulate license discipline. Zoning variances address land use, not deception. Question 21. How do HOA assessments affect ownership costs for Victor? Option A. They pay the buyer's broker commission only. Option B. They cancel property taxes. Option C. They are always voluntary tips. Option D. They are recurring charges used to fund association obligations and services. The correct answer is option D. They are recurring charges used to fund association obligations and services. HOA assessments are part of the ongoing cost of owning in a common interest development. They fund association expenses rather than broker commissions. Property taxes remain separate. Assessments are not voluntary tips when properly levied. Question 22. Why must eviction procedures be handled carefully in California rentals for Imani in Santa Barbara? Option A. Landlords generally must follow lawful notice and court processes rather than self-help lockouts. Option B. Tenants lose all rights after one late payment. Option C. Changing locks is always allowed without notice. Option D. Eviction is handled only by the listing agent. The correct answer is option A. Landlords generally must follow lawful notice and court processes rather than self-help lockouts. California landlord-tenant law requires proper procedure, and self-help evictions can create liability. Late payment does not erase all tenant rights immediately. Lockouts without lawful process are risky and often improper. Listing agents do not conduct evictions by default. Question 23. Sudden movement of soil by a flood changes a boundary visibly. Which term best fits the sudden event for Amara in Oakland? Option A. Accretion. Option B. Divulsion. Option C. Damortization. Option D. Supervising. The correct answer is option B. Avulsion. Avulsion is a sudden loss or addition of land by natural forces such as flooding. Accretion is gradual buildup. Amortization is loan repayment over time. Supervising is an agency relationship. Question 24. Why does ability to repay matter in residential mortgage lending for Theo in Santa Rosa? Option A. Ability to repay is a zoning test. Option B. It applies only to commercial leases. Option C. Lenders must consider whether the borrower can reasonably repay under applicable rules. Option D. Borrowers may ignore income if the house is attractive. The correct answer is option C. Lenders must consider whether the borrower can reasonably repay under applicable rules. Ability to repay standards are intended to reduce unsafe lending by evaluating repayment capacity. Zoning regulates land use, not borrower repayment ability. Residential mortgage rules are separate from commercial leasing. Property appeal does not replace financial underwriting. Question 25. On a closing statement, why is the buyer charged prepaid interest for Rosa in Palm Springs? Option A. It pays the seller's moving company. Option B. It is a penalty for asking questions. Option C. It is the same as title insurance premium. Option D. Interest may be collected from closing through the start of the first regular payment period. The correct answer is option D. Interest may be collected from closing through the start of the first regular payment period. Prepaid interest covers loan interest for a partial period before regular payment cycles begin. Moving expenses are private costs unless separately agreed. Asking questions does not create a lawful fee. Title insurance premiums cover title risk.